And we're live here on Facebook. Welcome to those watching live, and welcome to those in YouTube world. Rich, who else do we need to welcome?
Our listeners in podcast land.
Oh, yeah. Let's welcome all of you folks to this lovely show. And thank you for being a part of it. Yeah. Rich, how you doing?
I'm doing good, a little tired. Really don't know why. I'm not really necessarily working any more hours or
You still
just
working at
tired.
home?
Yeah, still working at home.
Yeah. It makes one of us. Um,
How are you, Mike?
yeah. Oh, man. I have a baby, so tired is just a way of life right now.
Mm,
No, she does great. I've been getting decent amount of sleep. I've been doing pretty good, so
yeah.
I'm doing
I
all
don't
right.
have that. I don't have that built-in excuse. I'm just tired. I don't
Yeah,
know why.
well, that happens. So, first thing we got to talk about. Let people know what our headline topics are this week. Headline topic number one: baseball and things. We actually have more than just the Cubs to cover this week.
We
We
do.
we
Tell the folks what it is.
we'll tell them. Our big. We have some insight about immaculate innings.
Okay.
Yeah, some insight about immaculate innings and whether or not that is a better indicator than no hitters. Um, then we also have the NFL preseason talk. And Rich, what else do we have for the show?
As always, we're going to be going into the NASCAR Corner, which is presented today by Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated. We got to talk about the last week's race, the Firekeepers Casino 400, as well as the Coke Zero 400 over at Daytona. And there's only one more playoff spot too, so we'll be looking at the NASCAR playoffs as well.
Okay. And I just added something. I don't know if you
I'll
saw
see
that.
it.
It's all the way at the bottom.
Okay.
Maybe we talk about it. Maybe we don't. Um,
Well-oiled machine here, folks.
Yep.
Well-oiled machine.
totally didn't think about it until just now. So, all that and more. But Rich, it's time to roll the intro. Broadcasting live from somewhere in Iowa. This is Balls and Sticks, the podcast, with your hosts, Mike and Rich. Okay, we're back. Okay, folks. Man, good week this week. Poll question for this week: how does football make a play like the Field of Dreams type game? And what do you think of it? I am pulling up the poll question now.
So Mike, what do you think the NFL? How does the NFL answer and have a similar experience?
So there's a couple hard parts about it. I don't think you can have that experience. Like the Field of Dreams game. Like the closest thing in a football movie that you can have is probably like there's no good professional football movies, right? There's nothing that hits you the nostalgic feel of that. Tell me a football movie that makes grown men cry on a regular basis. I'll wait.
Yeah, there isn't one.
Maybe Rudy. But it's not professional. That's college.
Exactly, that's college.
I mean, granted, those guys were probably getting paid back then anyway because they're the University of Notre Dame. But we're not going to discuss that and tarnish the greatest quarterback of all time, Joe Montana, who played with Rudy, by the way. Did you know that?
I did not.
Yeah. Okay, so back to the discussion. You're never going to have that feel, but The options we gave you were Douglas Park and Rock Island. It was the home of the first championship game ever in the NFL. Second, we put Kinnick or a college stadium. Third, we put an actual Hall of Fame game that counts. Fourth, Bristol Motor Speedway. I voted for something that I think is, it's never going to happen, even though 13 of our votes were in that realm. Never going to happen. I think the Bristol one is the most likely of these to happen. Because why not? Tennessee Titans go to Bristol, put the whole thing together. Boom, you're good. But Douglas Park in Rock Island won, which is where I voted. Rich, where did you vote?
I think I voted for Bristol Motor Speedway.
No, you didn't.
I didn't. What did I vote for?
You voted for the Hall of Fame game, Rich.
Okay, yeah. I can go with that. Well, my opinion on the thing is I don't think football needs to do like a special event or type of game like the Field of Dreams, like hockey needs to do with the outdoor games in the outdoor stadiums.
What are London games then?
That's them trying to expand their audience by putting a game in an international city.
It's still an issue though. It's basically the same thing. Shout out this week though.
Okay, go on. Give the shout out, and then I'll talk more on why I don't think they need to do something like that.
Okay. We'll give the shout out after this. You were in the middle of saying why, so go ahead. Sorry.
The thing is, I don't think. We gave domestic locations for where to stage a game.
Yep.
And I think in an article that I also read, could you do a game in Alexandria, Virginia, which is where Remember the Titans team. You could put the Tennessee Titans against the Washington football team, or have a game in there to kind of recreate or pay homage to that movie.
Yep.
But I just don't think that the NFL needs to stage a game like this domestically to grow the brand or bring in fans, because weekly they pull in the highest rated television ratings week to week. Sunday Night Football, no matter who's playing, is the highest rated TV show.
Yeah.
Monday Night Football maybe doesn't pull in the numbers like it used to because it's now on cable, and it's kind of harder for cord cutters to see the games on ESPN.
Yeah.
So I could maybe see Monday Night Football trying to stage a special event game. But if you're going to put the game on Sunday or have it be like the game of the week, the late game on Fox or CBS or on Sunday Night Football, they don't need to do it.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I totally get it. It would be a way to make a Thursday game matter.
But Thursday games are, depending on the matchup, are the highest rated TV shows. When Thursday night, when it's the NFL on Thursday nights, more than likely the TV shows that are on the other networks that are going up against it, they're going into reruns and they're not airing new episodes.
Yeah.
Unless it's a TV show that had a big dedicated following, like The Big Bang Theory, which always ran on Thursday nights, or that's the only one that comes to mind off the top of my head.
So like I said, Douglas Park won, Kinnick Stadium and Hall of Fame game that counts tied with 2 votes each. So, Bernie Sanders said the field clearly has to be surrounded by corn.
Okay.
That's the only way for them to do it.
All right, that's fair, Bernie. But, getting back a little bit with our choices, I agree with you. I think Douglas Park is a little bit unrealistic. Maybe staging a preseason game. Having maybe the 2 random teams come in and play at Augie, which is close.
Yeah.
Which is a NFL caliber, which...
That's not
it's a field. It's a field, but it's more than just putting them in the park and putting temporary stands. In a big open field.
You're going to have to put the temporary stands in anyway.
It's a preseason game. You just sell out the number of tickets you sell the amount of tickets that
there's like
Augustana Field.
Augustana Field is tiny. Do it at Rocky Stadium. You'd have more more seating than you do at Augustana.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
Rocky Field is kind of amazing. But
Okay,
Douglas,
and they do have they have the synthetic turf now, don't they?
yep,
Okay.
yep, and
Yeah,
they
and
they yeah and they have, I mean, it's a decent stadium in general. You don't have all of the X-rays and all that stuff, but you're 2 minutes, like you're across the street from the hospital. So if you shut down the roads and you just say nope, we're closing down the block around it, you're basically at a hospital.
yeah, I
But
mean, I think a preseason game could work in that scenario.
Douglas
In that
Park is
scenario.
where you should have it, because that again was where the initial championship event for the NFL happened. So at least 13 of our voters agreed with that. I think most of
Okay.
them are, let's see. I'm just gonna look. Yeah. I mean, most of them are Rock Island people. A lot of them are Rock Island people. Um, yeah, a good portion of them. A lot of people like it. So, okay. This week's poll question, Rich. The depressing over/under on the Bears wins this year, 7.5.
Yes, and I got that number from the William Hill Sportsbook, which is the local sports book here in the Quad Cities.
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor.
Yeah. Um,
I was kind of surprised it was that low, but
I'm not.
you're not.
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm surprised it's that high, actually. You taking the over then?
Yeah, I would take the over.
I'd probably take the under. But, folks, we want to know what you think. Over under 7.5 for the Bears. Over under. You think they're going to win or lose? What if it hits right on 7.5? Is that a push?
You can't. You can't hit on 7.5 wins.
A tie is considered a half win.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
You could.
Okay. Anything else in sports in poll question land that we need to get into?
No,
Okay, this
not
week
really. So
the Cubs did better than I expected. Rich, you had a good week. You hit it right on the head, didn't you?
I think so. I gave them 2 wins. They
Yeah.
went 2-4.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about their overall record because it's bad.
55-70 for those keeping track at home.
I don't think I updated that,
Oh.
but
Um.
they are 56-74. 22.5 games back of the division, which they're not going to hit. They're not going to reach that.
Are the Cubs gonna get that dreaded 100 loss season this year?
I hope not. I don't know. I think that incredible May where they went on a tear and looked like, hey, maybe they are gonna screw the ownership and general manager's plans to tear the team down and do well. I think that could avoid them getting the 100 losses.
Yeah, they need 7 games. They need to win 7 games by the end of the season in order to stay out of that 100 loss.
They can win 7. They can get 7.
I'm not sure, Rich. Speaking of, this week they have 2 against the White Sox, 2 against the Twins, and 1 against the Pirates. They're playing the Pirates currently?
No. That's for next week. Because more than likely, because we're going to do a Thursday night show, which I was going to bring that up at the end, that game is more than likely going to be currently being played while we're recording next week.
Okay.
That was a programming note for
next week. Okay. Yeah.
How many? You only got 5 games.
The White Sox just came back from a 6-1 deficit to prove that they're a better team than the Cubs. I think they're going to be able to win both those other two games. They're going to sweep the Cubs on the south side. Then we have to go up to Minneapolis. Minneapolis. The Twinkies kind of suck.
They do. They're in just as bad of a situation as the Cubs this year.
I think the Cubs can pull off the one win there, maybe.
Okay.
I'm not convinced that they can yet. The Pirates, if we're counting that game,
we will. We'll count that game. We will count that game within our
ability.
Within our weekly prediction.
Can I say?
You're giving them 1 or 2.
I'm gonna say they only win 1.
I'm gonna go 1 as well because they're wasting a Kyle Hendricks start by putting him in the Sunday game against the White Sox, which they're not going to win.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give it 1 win. Only because they're playing the Twins and the Pirates, who are just as bad, if not worse, than the Cubs this year.
Yeah. Man.
So an article that I didn't read, but I saw the headline, came up on my Facebook feed saying that if the Cubs don't spend this offseason, they could risk losing fans to the White Sox. Is that a valid point?
Yes-ish.
Okay. Because my initial thoughts were, yeah, they could lose fans to the White Sox, but then those aren't true Cub fans. If they're going to abandon the team and not root for them.
Right.
Instead, because they're not putting up a competitive team.
So this is where I'm at on this. Your 10-year-olds who have never really been huge, like they follow the Cubs because they were winning for the years, up until the last year. Even last year, up until this year, they've had winning records for most of their life. I mean, you look over the last decade, they've had winning teams for most of those seasons. But at 10 years old, you're easily swayed by who's winning when. Those types of fans, you might lose. But Rich, what got you into loving the Cubs?
My grandpa taking me to ball games, and they weren't winning then.
You were born into it, right?
Yeah.
And that's how most Cubs fans are. Most Cubs fans over the age of 15, and I would even say most of the Cubs fans that are 15 probably were born into it. Most Cubs fans in general are born into it. Now, we have some bandwagon riders, some people that just love the Cubs. And so, yeah, we could lose some of those fans. I don't doubt it. There are going to be some people that, because the Cubs aren't winning this year, might jump ship. But those aren't the people. Those aren't your true fans. And those are us diehards that have been with the team since you could go and catch a game for $20 and not even $20, $10. Go catch a game and nobody cared because who cares that the Cubs are playing? They're a loser. They're a bunch of losers. That doesn't bother me. Like, most of us Cubs fans truly are Cubs fans, and it doesn't matter. You'll lose some though. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a significant portion at all.
Okay. The Cubs got a lot of fans because a kid could come home from school and turn on the TV and, hey, who's on TV right now?
Yep.
The Chicago Cubs. I don't know. This team plays in Chicago, but I'm out in the middle of Iowa or Missouri or Wisconsin. But because they play on the WGN Superstation, they watched the games and got to hear Harry Carey call baseball games. That's how they became Cubs fans.
Cow!
That's how they became Cubs fans. And now that's taken away because of a cable network. Now that's taken away because all of their games are on TV, on a TV channel that
Most people don't
the
have.
people that pay for a cable network can't even get.
Yeah. Um. Okay. Moving on from there. So, Rich, there's been a lot of talk that says that the fact that there have been how many no hitters this year? Like we were set to
I
break
think
the
we're up to
record.
5 or 6. I think now this
Yeah,
year.
we're gonna demolish the record for, and then all of a sudden people are like, oh, that means that everybody's cheating and there's all this sticky stuff and blah blah blah, and now we're inspecting guys as they come out on the field and guys are taking their pants off and stuff. I don't know. I don't get it.
I don't
Anyway,
know.
but because of that, on the other side, though, everybody's saying nobody cares about being struck out anymore, and they were arguing all these no hitters are proof that there's either cheating or the game's broken because nobody cares. But there is another statistic that not people don't look at all the time, and here it is. In the 1980s, Rich, how many immaculate innings? Well, let's first determine what an immaculate inning is. You want to tell the people?
9 pitches, 9 strikeouts.
9 pitches, 3 strikeouts
3 strikeouts. Okay, sorry.
in an inning. 1 inning. You throw 9 pitches, you strike out 3 guys. That's an immaculate inning. Chris Sales threw his 3rd in his career, and we have had 4 this season. You know how many they had in the entire decade? We had 5 or 4 this season. You know how many they had in the entire decade of the 1980s?
How many, Mike?
4.
4.
We have in 1 year matched the number of immaculate innings as they had in the entire decade of the 80s, where everybody was on cocaine and whatnot. How broken is that? Are the pitchers that much better this year? I think the batters don't care. Good job, Chris Sales. By the way, throwing 3. There's only one other person, I believe, that's done that, and that's Sandy Koufax.
Mm-hmm.
I believe, if I remember that correctly.
Yeah, I believe that's what the story was, is that he joined Sandy Koufax.
So, come on now. This is... Part of me is like, I feel like a fuddy-duddy saying, oh, look, blah, blah. But also, like, really? This is where we're at? I don't know. Rich, do you got any thoughts on this?
I really don't. I would have thought that there would have been. I can see why there maybe was less immaculate innings.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you're also taking into a fact that a batter isn't. They're not battling. They're not trying to foul a pitch off to get a better count, to maybe, or fouling off a questionable pitch, or they're not taking a walk.
Yeah.
They're going up there and swinging for the fences, because if you don't hit it hard, they're trying just to hit the ball hard or not hit it at all.
Yep. Well, folks, I mean, there's not much to say other than that. I think it goes to prove how broken modern day baseball is. Let's get back to fundamentals. That's something I'd love to see. I know that doesn't play well in the theoretically it doesn't play well in the TV viewership, but
No, they want to see action.
yeah.
I mean, they interpret, well, we want to see action on people on the base paths.
Yep.
So, but that doesn't, and they think that home runs sell. The players think home runs get you paid. Home runs keeps you in the lineup, and so many with the launch angles and hard hit balls. That equates to power, not putting people in the base pass.
Yep. Yeah,
So, I mean, it's just going to have to just be naturally evolved to get back into putting the ball into play
Yeah.
and spraying the ball all over the field, not being a dead pole hitter.
By the way, the Cubs in May looked like they were putting the ball in play and getting guys on base and then bringing them in. Yeah, a lot of the bringing them in was home runs, but they put a lot of guys in play.
Exactly. If you want the home runs to matter, you got to put people on the base paths.
Yep. So, okay. Anything else about baseball you want to talk about?
Nope. So, Mike, do you see what's coming up next?
Is it a left turn?
It is a left turn.
And after that?
It's going to be another one.
And we're under the lights this week because we're heading to the NASCAR Corner presented by Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated, Moline, Illinois. Check them out for all your sports card and memorabilia needs in their in-store or online on their eBay store. Once again, Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated. Okay, Rich. Fantasy shout-out this week. Who gets it?
Is it you again?
It's me again. By a score of 113 to your 111, I took the lead. I won this week. Overall, however, I'm still 400 points behind Solomon and almost 1,000 points behind you. But that being said, good on everybody for joining and being a part of it. We hope to see you next year for the NASCAR Fantasy.
It's not over yet.
It's not over yet.
Not over yet.
This is their last race before the playoffs.
In the playoffs, you still set a fantasy NASCAR lineup for the playoffs as well.
Yes, you do. And your usages start over.
Yes.
So all those guys that you're running out of usages for, you get them back. Okay, Rich. So currently, Kyle Larson, Martin Truex, Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney, Alex Bowman, William Byron, Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski, Kurt Busch, Christopher Bell, Michael McDonald, and Eric Almirola have all won races this year.
Yep, and Denny Hamlin and Kevin Harvick have clinched playoff spots due to points scored.
Correct.
So there's only one playoff spot available at the Daytona
I don't
race.
have that Kevin Harvick is.
They said last week at the post-race that he had clinched.
Okay.
That he clinched based on points. So you've got one playoff position available.
Yep.
Depending on the race results. Currently, Tyler Reddick holds that position. And the next closest, right below the cut line, is the number 3 car of Austin Dillon.
Yep.
Who does well at Daytona.
And
then
one of our show's favorites, Matt Benedetto, Matty D, needing a win. He's, what is he?
He's 100 points back.
Yeah, he's 120 points back at Tyler Reddick.
Yep.
So he needs a win. The only way he gets in is a win. Austin Dillon needs 25 points. So he needs to be 25 spots ahead of Tyler Reddick in order to get that position.
Get in on points.
Get in on points. Or he needs a win.
And the same goes for the guys well below the cut line like Buescher, Stenhouse, Chastain.
Bubba Wallace.
Pisco.
Yep.
Jones, Suarez, Newman. Those guys.
All of those guys. Cole Custer, Corey LaJoy, who apparently doesn't have a car. Oh, he's one of the. He does road courses. Sorry. So the big thing here, and this is where we're at. A win gets you in. But Rich, who wins in Daytona, Talladega every time? It's the track.
Does really well. Yeah, the track wins.
The track wins. You just have to make sure you're not in the position to get caught in the big one. caused by the way these restrictor plates go. So, yeah.
Anybody can win this race. It's a great race have to end in the regular season.
Anybody can win. So, if your name is Bubba Wallace and you're afraid that you're not going to be able to make the playoffs, disappointing your greatest of all time owner, guess what? If you win, you have good potential to win today or tonight. Yeah, it's tonight, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, win, you're in. That's the rules for tonight. Let's see how they do. So, Rich, before we actually get into the preview of tonight's race, we should probably talk about last week's race, how people did, and how it went.
All right, the Firekeepers Casino 400 out of Michigan. Your race winner was Ryan Blaney, who also happened to be your pick, Mike.
Yeah.
So you won between the two of us. You pick up your first win prediction of the year. And my pick of Martin Truex Jr. still came in 10th, so I still got a top 10 driver out of it, which pulls the record between the two of us to be 15-14 in favor of myself.
What happens if I beat you but don't get a win tonight?
It's 15-15 going into
our
the playoffs. Our regular season is a tie. Yeah. It sets you up well for the playoffs.
It does.
When there's a chance that you could get up to 3 points if your non-playoff driver or your playoff driver gets a win.
Yep. So this week's folks, so like Rich said, that brought it to 15-14. This week we are at the Coke Zero 400 in Daytona, Florida. Man, what a good place to end the regular season. You start and finish the regular season in Daytona. You like that, Rich?
I do.
Okay.
I like it.
Yeah. And it's a night race, which is always fun. Exciting. Looking forward to the race tonight. Catch it on NBC or NBCSN?
It's going to be on the main network, so it'll be on NBC.
Okay. Rich, we already determined.
You have the honors.
Oh,
you
yeah,
have the
I
honors,
do.
Mike. So the two of us know who we're picking, but tell our listeners.
I picked Denny Hamlin.
All right, I like that pick. He usually does pretty well at the Super Speedway, at Daytona Super Speedway. I'm gonna go with the guy below the cut line that needs to not only finish well in this race, but also finish well because he's looking for a ride next year. Yeah. And I'm gonna go with Matty D.
I like that pick. Matty D has had some success in Daytona. Look for him to do great. Look for the race on NBC tonight. I think it starts at like 6 o'clock our time.
7. I think it's 7 o'clock.
Sometime tonight on NBC. Just turn it on. It's background noise. Don't take a NASCAR nap too late though, because then it screws up your sleeping schedule. Okay. Besides that, we got some news happening. Speaking of the GOAT and his racing team, they got a new driver this week. Who'd they get, Rich? And who's coming with him?
All right. So the Jordan Hamlin ownership group was looking to have a second car for next season, and they now have a driver for that car.
Okay.
As they're going to bring over Kurt Busch.
Nice.
Who was a free agent, and he's going to drive the number 45 Toyota.
Nice.
Michael Jordan's baseball number and the number that he wore for a couple of games in his first season back from his baseball retirement. And Kurt Busch is going to bring Monster Energy with him as the primary sponsor.
Here's a question. Does Michael Jordan get a pair of we know that his secret to being such a good basketball player is he wore his lucky shorts from college.
Mm-hmm.
Does he wear those when he goes to the racetrack? Or should he wear those when he goes to the racetrack?
Maybe that's why Bubba Wallace isn't doing as well. Michael's not wearing his lucky shorts.
Michael, put your lucky shorts on. Bubba's going to win tonight. I'm telling you, that's how it's going to happen. Hey, raise your hand if you saw Space Jam and you heard Michael talk about, I wear them at every game.
Gotta have them.
Gotta have them. Yeah. That's why Bugs Bunny had to go steal them from Michael's house. So, that's exciting to see. That'll be a good pickup for him. He as a guy who is fiery about winning, he'll bring that fire to the team. Should be hopefully it's a good fit. Kurt Busch has been bounced around from team to team. He loves to drive. He's really good. He just hasn't put it all together in one season yet. So look for that to be a good.
I thought that he has won an overall points championship before.
Let me look it up.
I think he has. It's just with his age, it's getting to the point where a lot of teams are wanting to go younger. So that's
you're right. He won in 04.
That's why he's kind of bounced around from team to team.
He's also very fiery about it, about winning and about having cars that work well, and he's not afraid to throw people under the bus.
Okay. So in the news article that I read about it, they said that this will be his first time driving in a Toyota, as before he's driven with
Ford and Chevy.
Ford and Chevys. Yep. So this will be his first Toyota, and he'll get to join in on the driver meetings with all the rest of all the other Joe Gibbs cars. So you'll be in the same race meetings as Hamlin, Truex, his brother Kyle, Denny. That could be a tough team to beat on the races where it's pack racing. So that's a lot of good drivers for pack racing.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that's a stout team. Okay, Rich, the cars are leaving the track, as are we, to head to the gridiron. Thank you for listening to the NASCAR Corner presented by Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated, Moline, Illinois. Check them out for all your sports memorabilia needs. Okay, NFL preseason, looking at it. We have some previews for you. We are, first and foremost, Rich, what do people need to stop what they're doing right now? You either got the app up, you're watching us on YouTube, or you're watching us on Facebook. The links are in the description. Go do this.
Join our NFL Weekly Pick'em.
Yep. We want you to join the Pick'em so we can give you shout-outs if you do well. And if you don't, we'll give you a shout-out. We'll tell you who's kind of garbage. Hopefully it's not me in the NFL at least.
Yeah, it's too easy. You just pick who's going to win the game, and your bonus picks, if you choose to make them. The scores of the Monday night game, the score of the Sunday night game, which team's going to score the most points that week, which team is going to score the least amount of points.
Yep.
You could easily join the league on the same day and make all your picks.
I'm halfway through the season already. I'm halfway through the season.
It's that easy. Look up our group name and our group password, and there is a link that'll take you directly to the page where you enter in that information.
Yep.
All across our various social media platforms.
We want you. Anyway, so this week, week 3 of our preview, we are looking at division and wild card picks for the week. Rich, are you ready for it?
Yeah. There's a lot of divisions there where it was really easy to pick the winner, and maybe about a couple of divisions where you could have easily seen any of the teams in the division winning it.
Or none of the teams winning it is how some of them end up.
All right, Mike. So let's start over in the NFC.
Okay.
The NFC. So we got the NFC East, or as you like to call them, the NFC least.
They are the least.
All right. So you got Washington, Dallas, Philly and the New York Football Giants.
Okay, this is a big caveat. If they stay healthy, what's the strongest team in that division, Rich? If they're healthy, and you can't deny this.
The Dallas Cowboys.
Okay, if they're healthy, that's my pick. Otherwise, I'm wrong.
All right. But as of now, they are healthy, even though we don't know what sort of shape Dak Prescott is in because they're not allowing him to play in preseason games. A very wise decision.
Yep.
So you're going with the Cowboys to take the East.
Yep.
I'm going to go with the Washington football team.
Yeah, I don't trust them at all. Okay.
They got a good young defense, which I think can rake some havoc with the great pass rush, and I really like the coach in Ron Rivera.
Yeah. Okay. The other three divisions I think were fairly easy for both of us. I think. So, North.
The Green Bay Packers.
Ugh. The Green Bay Packers.
It's going to be tough. I mean, the Lions aren't going to win that division.
Nope. The Bears aren't going to win that division.
The Vikings could make things interesting, but I don't think they have the team to win the division.
I mean, the biggest problem is that we have a pissed off Aaron Rodgers, and we've seen what he does, and that is destroy the NFC North. He's gonna win it. That's it.
Yeah, I think this is the Packers' division to lose. I think the only way that they lose this division is if you get an Aaron Rodgers that wants to play subpar football, or maybe doesn't battle through injuries, or if he gets injured. Because I think even if they were to lose their number one receiver like Devontae Adams, or their defense plays like crap, Aaron Rodgers could still will them to victories, at least to the division crown.
Aaron Rodgers wants a payday next year. He wants people to actually play. Blah, 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 blah. I have words, I promise. Aaron Rodgers wants people to pay him next year. If he's gonna get the people to pay him next year, how's he gonna do that, Rich?
He's gonna have to perform, put up the numbers.
And for him to do that, he's gonna put on a clinic. The NFC North is gonna suffer. Aaron Rodgers is gonna leave him with a howdy, hi-oh silver, and a get out of here. I'm the best. Get out of my face. He's going to win that North.
So you don't think even a minor injury, to where maybe one that he would have played through on a normal basis, that he would say, you know what, I'm injured. I'm not going to risk my future. No. I'm not playing this. I'm going to declare myself out. I don't want to risk injury.
Nope. He's going to play through everything this year. He is going to destroy this division.
Is there any way the Bears can win this division?
If the Vikings and the Packers buses collide on their way to the airport after a game in Minneapolis as they were both heading somewhere, I don't know.
I mean, if Aaron Rodgers gets injured, has a significant injury in his
because Love's going to come in and show us that he was worth it.
No.
Aaron Rodgers,
or the Bears may be turning to Justin Fields a lot sooner than everybody thinks they will.
That's still not going to save him. That's a bad idea. I honestly, no. I don't see a way for the Bears to do it. I want the Bears to win. I love the Bears. This isn't going to be our year, guys. Don't get your hopes up. That being said, probably the easiest pick for, I think, of any of the divisions in the NFC. We go to the South.
Yep.
Where I don't trust any of the other teams. And when was the last time we saw a Super Bowl winning team return every one of their starters? Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, probably those 90s Cowboys.
Maybe. Because
they were able to keep a lot of their stars.
Yeah. So, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, come on now.
Yeah. Yeah. This time last year, I was saying, well, why did Tom Brady choose the Buccaneers? That's a hard division. Well,
This
fast
year
forward
it's
to this
not.
year, fast forward to this year, Drew Brees is gone.
Yep.
So the
Nobody
Saints could the Saints could be competitive, but I don't. There's no way they're going to challenge for the division.
is. Ooh.
Atlanta lost Julio Jones and still
Yeah.
doesn't have a dependable run game.
And does anybody really trust Matt Ryan?
Yeah,
Like, truthfully, does anybody trust Matt Ryan? Folks, I know
he
you're
could
out
put
there
up
and you do, but I don't. Yeah, no.
he could put up numbers, but those high passing yards and touchdowns, from a fantasy perspective, he could be good if you can live with the interceptions that he's probably going to throw as well.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know that they still haven't been able to figure out how to play defense in a long time.
Nope. Um.
And the
So
Panthers are still kind of adjusting to having a college coach, Matt Rule, be their coach and their his system, and they brought in Sam Darnold
yeah. Who?
instead of drafting a quarterback.
Yep. Then have our final division, the West. Uh, this is, I think, the toughest division in football.
Yeah, I can agree with that. You could easily make a case. In my opinion, I think you could make a case for any of those teams winning the division.
I
It's
agree.
that stacked. It's that good.
Um, I am, however, going to pick a team that I think has gotten significantly better in the most important position in the NFL by bringing in one of my favorites, Matthew Stafford. The LA Rams. Rich, what do you think on that?
I went with the Rams as well because I mean, but it was a hard decision because you know that those division games are going to be competitive
Yeah,
to where their standings in the conference could be affected because of their what happened within their divisional games.
yeah, totally agree.
There's it's going to be they could have I think they have the team if they weren't playing in such a competitive division that could be the number 1 or the number 2 seeded team, but because of their divisional games are going to be so tough, they might have to settle for the 4 seed.
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be the toughest division in the league. Speaking of the NFC and the wild cards, Rich, who's your number one wild card?
My number 1 wild card is the Seahawks.
I concur, Doctor. Do you concur? Sorry, that
All
was
right.
a nod to a
Wild
movie.
card number 2.
I'm gonna go with the 49ers.
Okay. I like the 49ers. They always have a really good defense. Even if their running backs are not healthy or they're rotating, they have good depth there with Mostert and Trey Sermon, a rookie.
Yep.
And they got good wide receivers, but their wide receivers are kind of have an issue with staying healthy with Samuel, Kittle, and Ayuk. So that's why I didn't pick the 49ers because of the injuries. And I went with the Cardinals.
Okay.
I like the Cardinals with Cliff Kingsbury and the system that he's got there. And they made the playoffs last year, and their defense got a little bit better with J.J. Watt coming on board.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Now we move over to the hard. I think the hardest decision. Where do you pick the final wild card spot? Do you put all 4 teams from the West? Because honestly, I would not. I don't think that's a crazy idea, except that you're going to have those teams beat up on each other. So,
Hmm.
but if each one of those teams only loses those 3 games, and I'm not saying they're going to, but it would not be that crazy for those 3 teams to only have 3 losses. And that's
Oh, okay. Oh, so you're saying that they would split their divisional games?
if every one of those teams only splits their divisional games and those are the only games like that, I don't think that's going to happen, but of any division in the league, that is the division that could do it. That is a crazy tough division. I don't think we're going to see that. And in fact, I put the Vikings as the third wild card.
All right, I like the Vikings as a pick. There's a lot to like there. There's a lot to like there.
Yep.
I went with. I'm not this is by no means a confident pick. I'm going to go with the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, picking two teams from the NFC least is scary.
But the thing is, I'm looking at the other teams. Can you justify putting a team from the South in the playoffs?
No. As a wild card, no.
Can you justify putting the fourth team? We already kind of went over the argument why you wouldn't put all four teams from the same division in the playoffs. It'd be hard to have a high enough winning record.
Right. I think that's going to be your toughest. That's the toughest. But I think there's a decent argument there.
Yeah, and I just think that if the Cowboys are healthy, just like why you picked them to win the East, if they're a healthy team, I think that they could sneak in as a wild. I picked them as a wild card.
Okay.
Because I think they're a better team than the Vikings or the Bears. I'd love to see the Bears there, and I was tempted to put them there, but I just don't think they're good enough.
Okay. Let's head over to the AFC. The East was pretty easy, I think, right? The Bills?
Yeah, I put the Bills. It's going to be, I think it's going to be a much more competitive division than it was last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
With the Patriots improving and
Miami improving?
Miami improving, and so it's not going to be as an easy win for the Bills, but I think the Bills that's their division to lose, kind of like with the South for the Buccaneers.
Yeah. Moving over to the AFC North, this a sneakily tough division.
Mm-hmm.
Sneakily
I can
tough.
agree with that.
Rich, who you putting in from the AFC?
I'm going to go with the Cleveland Browns.
Okay. Not a bad pick. I just think Lamar Jackson, I mean, if you're looking at quarterbacks, and this is the only division that I got to a point where I said, okay, which quarterback do I think can take his team on their back best? Ben's old. His back's going to be hurt if he tries to carry all those guys. I don't think I trust the Browns and
Baker
Mayfield, yeah, sorry. I don't trust Baker Mayfield to do it. He's too inexperienced. And the Cincinnati Burrows are the one team in that division that I don't think are that great. So
no,
I have to go with the Baltimore Ravens.
I still like the Ravens pick because if you're just looking at quarterbacks using your theory of using your train of thought, yes, Lamar Jackson is a better quarterback than Baker Mayfield, but I think the Browns are an overall better team than the Ravens.
I think the teams are very evenly stacked. That's what this is. I mean, the reason it took me because I had to look teams, and I thought those top three teams even are pretty closely matched. Then I went to defense, and I think the defenses are decently matched. Then you get to the quarterback position. And who in that quarterback slot? It was my third criteria. That's the only way I could come up with it. That's why I went with it.
Okay.
But don't sleep on that division. We'll see him here in a second again. AFC South, again, it's another pretty easy pick. The Tennessee Titans improved and were the class of the field in that division last year. No reason to think otherwise. Rich, AFC West, what do you think? What are your thoughts? I'm going to shut up for a second.
No, that's fine. Kansas City Chiefs. I don't think there's a team in that division. There's still good teams in that division, but I don't think there's one that can challenge and take over the Chiefs. I think the only way that they don't do well is if Patrick Mahomes gets injured.
Yep, I can agree with that. And that's the exact same thing I did. Okay, AFC West wild card or AFC wild cards. Mine are in no particular order. I don't think I ranked them because I think again these are three teams that are very evenly matched on my side. I think Rich, let's go. If I don't know, are yours ranked in that order?
Mine are. Mine
Okay.
are ranked in that order.
Who do you have for AFC wild card number 1?
I like the Superchargers. I really like this team. Justin Herbert played really well last year. He's going to have more underneath his belt.
Yep. I actually
And,
think that's probably my team, my number 1 wild card team. I would agree with that.
So I like that. For my number 2 team, I put the Baltimore Ravens.
Okay. And you know what? My number 2 team is going to be the Browns.
Okay. So we basically flip-flopped on the NFC North,
Yep.
AFC North. So
Yep.
yeah, we're on the same train.
Yeah.
The third wild card, much like the NFC, I was struggling to find a team for this.
Now, was yours? So my struggle. I agree. I had the same struggle. My struggle was not that. What team do I think? Like, is there a team that could do this? My struggle was there are at least 3 teams that I think could make a run at the wild card. I truly think there are 3 teams that are good enough to make that wild card. One of which is, or 2 of which I actually believe. Well, no, one is in the West. One was in the South, and the final one, and I gotta remember which one I was saying on that. Oh, and one was in the East. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I had too many teams to pick from. I think there are 3 teams easily that could have gone into this position. Rich, what was your struggle?
Well, mine was trying to determine, much like you. I mean, I think I had some teams I could have picked. I mean, the teams that I kind of wrestled with to kind of decide from.
Yep.
Were the Colts in the South.
Yeah.
The Dolphins.
Yep.
And I could even see the Patriots contending for a playoff spot.
I don't know if
Bill
I trust
Belichick,
the Patriots.
They improved. They
did.
Bill Belichick opened up the checkbook and he added to his team.
Yep.
Which is something that they rarely do.
Normally
they acquire their players through trades and drafting and developing them instead of signing them the big deals.
I would say the one team I think you forgot, the LA Raiders. I'm sorry, Vegas Raiders.
I think that division is going to be too tough for them to come out of. Which is why I didn't put 3 teams from the West in that division.
Yeah.
I think they'll do well, but I don't think that they're playoff material.
Okay. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that's where I put them in. That's the team that I put in the NFC or the AFC wild card number 2.
All right. I went with the Colts. It's not a confident pick, but if they can get healthy,
yeah,
and
yep,
and Frank Reich can unlock Carson Wentz and bring him back to life, they could do well with that because their defense is good. But it's going to take Carson Wentz being healthy and their best offensive lineman, Quentin Nelson, also being healthy because he's out injured right now too. But they got a balanced offense. They just need that quarterback.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. Speaking of quarterbacks and moves, we have a couple minutes left. Rich, you got a piece off the wire right before we came on air. What's the news you got for us?
Gardner Minshew is headed to Philly.
Yeah.
He is presumably going to be the backup to Jalen Hurts, and he'll join Joe Flacco in their quarterback room.
Yeah.
So do you think with him going to Philly, he's got a little bit more of a clearer path to start if Jalen Hurts struggles or gets hurt?
Yeah, I don't know. I think this was a bad decision for the Jaguars, personally.
Okay.
Because I think the Jags, I mean, we know who's starting there now.
I think you knew who was going to be the starting quarterback as soon as they announced the #1 pick.
I don't think they should have though. Like, let's look at this. The kid needs some time. How's that offensive line going to protect him? Exactly, they're not.
Yeah, they don't have a strong offensive line, and I did see that as an argument. As soon as Travis Etienne went down with a season-ending injury, there was somebody saying, "All right, do you redshirt Trevor Lawrence this year because your offense is kind of having to because they're having to kind of
Yeah.
rethink their offense of how they're going to run it now that Edemaine's out."
Yep. I totally think that that's what you should have done. But we'll see. Real quick, anything else NFL you want to talk about?
Not really. Next week, on a special Thursday night show because next weekend is Labor Day weekend and we'll both be traveling.
Yep.
We'll be giving you our conference championship picks, maybe doing power rankings.
Yep.
Our preseason power rankings, and maybe giving you our Super Bowl picks.
Yeah.
Not sure how far that'll be probably a time permits.
Yep.
So I don't have anything else on the NFL. Make sure to go out and join our weekly pick'em game if you haven't already done so. So Mike, I see in the quick hits you put the Paralympics.
Yeah. How about 2 U.S. swimmers getting gold and setting a Paralympic record and a World Paralympic record?
That's cool. Did you watch any other Paralympics this week?
Yeah, I watched what was it? I started watching it, and then it turns out ladies and gentlemen, you think that they do stories about people in the Olympics over the top? The Paralympics are even worse because they have way more to overcome than any of the people in the Olympics. Like, because these are people that have lost limbs or are blind, have some sort of disability that is keeping them, or that's forcing them into, it makes it so they are a Olympian.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's all about the story. Like, you thought you got story after story of the Olympics. The Paralympics are worse. I watched for 45 minutes. I saw one race. This is other than the girls that won. I saw one race. The rest of the time, I got 3 different stories. One of which was the day that the Afghanistan attack happened, and that was it was a guy from Afghanistan who is representing the refugee team and was born with no arms.
Huh.
So, speaking of which, it is with a heavy heart that we hit the last topic of the day, which is let's remember those that gave up their lives in service of this country to protect others and to try to bring peace in a terribly war-torn area. Sad news to hear this week, but we honor those that gave their lives in service to the better cause, as it were. So
Yeah, it was tough to hear about the attack on the Kabul airport as they're trying to protect the airport that's trying to get people out of there.
Yep.
Trying to get people out of there, and I was just kind of surprised that it really didn't get much media attention. You didn't hear about we're going to lower the flags to half staff because of this, or we're going to do this because you chose to do this when we're just trying to keep the peace and get people out of the country.
Yeah.
And we're going to retaliate. There wasn't much talk about what we're going to do in response to that, and that's kind of sad.
Yeah. On a brighter note, football is nearly upon us. Be ready. Be excited. And, Rich, people are looking at our beautiful faces, but you know what? They want to listen to us in their cars. What should they do?
You can look for our podcast wherever you find your other podcasts that you listen to on a consistent basis. Anchor.fm, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google
Podcasts.
Podcasts, to name a few.
Yep. If you are listening to us, folks, head over to facebook.com/ballsandsticks, the podcast, where you can check out all of our past videos. If you want to participate in our poll questions, facebook.com/fans of Balls and Sticks. Or if you just want to watch and you don't want to use Facebook because you're anti-Mark Zuckerberg, check us out at YouTube. Just search for Balls and Sticks, the podcast. Folks, we thank you so much. We will see you next week. Same bat time? No, Thursday night. We will see you Thursday night. Check us out Thursday night. Yeah, we'll work on when that's going to happen. God bless you. Rich, let's roll the outro. Broadcasting live from somewhere in Iowa, this is Balls and Sticks, the podcast, with your hosts, Mike and Rich.